Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as, investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence. Put in the work for yourself and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are on Tuesday, January 16th. We're going to do a quick check-in on GOEV. So GOEV just continuing to get crushed here. You see volume picking up and then dipping a little bit. It's now starting to pick back up again as it's just absolutely getting crushed, down almost 10% today. Now there is sort of like a new level that we can put in here if it's able to climb back up at some point. About here is where I'd go with it. 21.26, so just ahead of that 22.70 that we have. Otherwise, I understand it's well below that at the moment, especially percentage-wise. So the Thinkorswim study, when we flip over there, will give us a little better look, because at least it'll be in the confines of a channel, and it'll have some relative aspect to that we can gauge some motion off of. But I wanted to point out here in the Weeble chart, it looks like this atrocity right here. Even though it is sort of down in no man's land at the moment, there is this gap up here. It's a pretty small gap, but it could it could make a big difference. Small gap could make a big difference if it were to be able to, at some point, and who knows, it may take weeks or months or who knows how long, but if it can get the price back up here to fill it, it would enter that gap at about 23.92. It would fill it at about 24.40. So, will that come into play a factor? I don't know, but it's there. And, so at least gives it a chance to say there's something to fill up there. Maybe at some point it will try to re-examine those levels. But for now, yeah, it's just caught in this very steep downtrend with these 4 candles or so here. And just really kind of getting clobbered down here. Now the Thinkorswim side of things, we zoom in a bit, we see trigger, fire, give it a little roller coaster action, and then a new trigger. It's not really a re-trigger, a new trigger. It was sort of batting around between mid-range and upper and lower. Put in one day up above, but predominantly on the lower half of things. Bearish momentum started picking up, and now putting in the second fire candle, if that continues to persist into close, and that would be putting it in as it's pushing the lower bound of the channel. So today, right now, trying to put in support at the lower bound of the channel, but it is really not having a ton of luck wicking up to any meaningful degree. This is a really strong red candle body there. So we'll see if it gets any bounce, any relief, any stabilization, even if it's brief, from that lower bound of the channel. I don't know, but again, at least when we're in no man's land over here on the Weeble chart, at least this channel, because it's dynamic and it shifts every time a candle gets put in, at least it gives us something that's proximal to work with. And as of now, it is still within the confines of the channel. Now, if it breaks out, we'll see what it does there. It broke out to the lower, out of the lower bound here. And what we always look for is for it to work its way back into the channel and then eventually retest the mid-range. And it took it quite a long time to do that. That said, even though it was pushing off of the red wave cloud as resistance, it didn't really get shoved back fully out of the channel again, right? These are all at least wrestling with the lower bound of the channel. They weren't fully out like these candles. So we'll see how it reacts this time, if it even leaves the channel. Like I said, being that it's within the channel, at least gives it a possibility. The potential is still there that it could find support on the lower bound of the channel and stay within it, and then we could see how it starts to react within the channel itself. But yeah, just really tough go for the GOEV bulls. This one's just getting beaten up, and on the histogram here we see it was a sort of slow and steady die down, got to the baseline, put in, like we said, this one candle up above the mid-range, and then just started to reemerge that bearish momentum on the histogram, play it back out, and now it's continuing to pick up as it's firing. So we'll see what that brings about. There is always the possibility that on the trigger and fire, that if it is calling out a move, sometimes it triggers and fires and nothing really happens. But if it is correct in calling out a big move, sometimes we get the counter trend first. So we get trigger and then fire strongly pushing down, and then as it gets to hitting the bound, in this case the lower bound, then the real play comes and we get a strong push upward. I don't know if that'll happen here. This, the look of this gives me a lot of reluctant energy. But we'll see. Just again to point out that it's not uncommon. It's not like a wild a thing that never really happens where we get the counter trend and then the real trend off of the trigger and fire. Again, we'll just have to see what happens. But these are the potentials as I see it. I guess I should mention that one while I'm just sort of like demoralizing all of the bulls with all of the other things that I've said through the course of this video. So we'll see how it goes. But the two, like I said, potential hopes that I see, if there is any opportunity for a bullish recovery here, is this gap. And again, who knows how long or when it happens, and this potential of finding support at the lower bound and this being a counter trend move before we get the real move. All right, folks, I hope that your trading week is off to a good start. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.